Hi, this is Randy Finney with Right Side of the Chart, and this is a closing market wrap for Thursday, September 26, 2019. We're going to do something a little different. I am going to do my best in 2 minutes or less to just give you a quick recap of the market, talk about what to watch for, what happened today, and then move on. And what I'll do, and again, if that's all you want to know, that's it. After that, I'll take do a deep dive down into how I traded today. Posting a lot of day trade ideas. Some of those started out on the front page, and really most of what I post on the front page or right side of the chart for subscribers, that's swing trade ideas. Although today there were, it was very conducive to day trading. So, and here's a takeaway from that. I know probably the vast majority of you listening to my voice do not have the time to actively day trade or the skill sets, but the premises that I use, everybody has different styles. I use the same tools and techniques that I swing trade or even invest off daily and weekly and monthly charts. I'll do that down on the 1 minute charts and 5 minute charts, and so I'll go over that today and show you some of the basic TA tools and strategies that I use. So, all right, 2 minutes or less starting here. Basically, we have QQQ, another, well, not a test, just above the trend line. Again, I have the trend line off the lows on December 24th. Moved that over right to catch that candlestick low in the last couple candles over the last few days. Today, we were a little bit above it, so there you go. We had a stick save yesterday, as talked about. And nothing has changed. We still have the indicators lagging. Should we make a new high? I'd still put almost coin toss odds, although I favor a little bit leaning towards still the downside. And what I said to members in other videos today is, look, this can, the analogy that I used for QQQ, and I showed you Microsoft, some other key stocks sitting with very similar technical postures, XLK. I use that analogy for those of you with kids, or even without kids, it's sometimes in a casino, but you take your kids to Chuck E. Cheese. They have those machines where the quarters or the tokens, you put it in, slides down, and it's got a whole stack of them on each window. And they're being pushed by this sliding bar going back and forth, pushing that stack to the edge. This is what the market feels like to me now. These are the coins just stacked up. The technicals tell me they're ready to break. And as you know, you can keep popping quarters in, and the pile can build, but enough get on there, and then one more comes down the slot, and boom, they fall. Once one of them falls over the edge, the whole stack is going to go, or at least a good part of them. I view the market that way, and so we could break down anytime. That's why I do these videos in advance, or wouldn't surprise me in the least to see us push up here, make a marginal new high. But as I've been saying for weeks, we've come down a little since I started saying that. So before, where I was at 2 or 3%, if QQQ and XLK push up, maybe it might be 4 or 5, maybe even 6% now. But I still think the upside is limited, and we could turn around and break down any day now. Sell signal will be a solid impulsive break below this line on QQQ, as well as the comparable trend lines on XLK. I have alternative trend lines. This little yellow one coming off the lows right there in late May, which we just hit yesterday, or the primary trend line right here off the lows on December 24th. And that has not been violated yet. Not on a daily closing basis. I talk about that often. When you trade on the daily time frame, all that matters are your daily candlesticks. So yesterday broke it intraday, but we snapped back and closed above it, and we remain above it. So there's a downtrend line to watch on XLK, and again, maybe another thrust higher if we pop that, but I think it's marginal at best, limited to maybe about 4%, could be 5, 6, or not. And if we do get it, as I've been saying, what I can tell you, I can guarantee this: if it happens anytime soon, it will be simply another divergent high, because these indicators are lagging. You can see my divergence line. There's no way that PPO is going to take out these previous two highs should we push up to a marginal new high. So that's it. Nothing's changed there. Might have been, hopefully I'm right about on the 2 minute mark. Okay. I talk fast to get that done. All right, let's roll into today's trades. Okay, again, so what I'll do is just going to pick down and all of these charts. I'm going to show you this chart here. What you're looking at is a 1 minute chart of NQ, the NASDAQ 100 futures. This is my preferred trading proxy. Some people trade ES. I also trade RTY. The reason is you get more bang for your buck. If you get the call on the market going up or down correctly, which you need to be doing or you're not going to be successful trading, you can get more bang for your buck, dollar for dollar, shorting or going long NQ and or RTY, because they're higher beta indexes than the S&P 500, meaning they go up more on a good day, usually, almost always, not every day, but most days, and they drop more on a down day. It's that simple. So, pick your poison. You can trade ES. I cover that. I do extensive analysis on that. All right, so this is, if you remember at yesterday's close, when in the closing market wrap video, I mentioned that I was going to go home short because, after being long throughout most of the day, because of this. On the SPY and QQQ charts, on the 60-minute charts, I showed you that they had rallied into downtrend line resistance. This is, where is that? I think that's right here, would be yesterday. And so that's where we were. And same thing on SPY. So we hit those resistance levels. I expected a pullback, but then, I talk about this often, and this is when I do this general market analysis, and I'm talking about, I've been talking for a long, long time, as you guys know. Hey, this market looks toppy, big correction coming, but that's not where I, took all my money away into shorts and just sit there. Swing trade accounts, I'll tell you what I'm doing there. But the active trading account, bull or bear market, doesn't matter to me. I'm long and short throughout the day. Like today was a typical day. I probably made 7 round-trip trades on NQ, and I'm going to go over those now. And so again, same story on SPY yesterday. Where was it? SPY, you can see right there, we were at the downtrend line, and there were some other factors as well that prompted me to go home short. But let's bring it back to this. So this basically, in a nutshell, and I'm going to go over each of these. All of these trades were posted in advance, clearly in advance, or at worst at the time of entry on a couple of these. So that was yesterday's close. This is where NQ topped out. 1600, that's 4 p.m. Eastern time right there. So that's when I did the video. We went down a little overnight. We came right back to that level. Earlier this morning, see 8 a.m., 9 a.m. right here, I posted a video, charts and pre-market, which I'm going to get to in a second, reiterating that this is an objective short entry because we were at the comparable downtrend line on NQ, on the NASDAQ 100 futures, as well as RTY, same level SPY, yes, SPY QQQ. And so, and what I did at that time, I laid out my targets. Initially I said, okay, here's where I'm going to be covering. I'm going to short down to 77.60, where I'll reverse it. And then here, let me show you that. We'll get to these. But this is the trades today. Long, short, reverse. Each one I reversed at. Short, going long again. I stayed long here, added here on this breakout. I'll show you. I'll get to that in a minute. We had a chart there. I mentioned that as my first target. I laid out 2 targets, but told you in advance I'd be covering just shy when we came to that 77. That 78 to 1750 was my target. And then I'd reverse, which I did. Told you I was going to ride it short into the close, but before the close, I post another update saying, change my mind. I'm going to play a bounce long here and cover it, reverse it at 78 to 0125 and then go back short again, which I did, and that's where I remain right now. And so what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 directional trades, long and short, reversing each one. And again, this is just the same, and I'll get to the reasons why here in a second. This chart might look convoluted. You might say, no way. Every NQ point, every point in the NQ, it's almost a 8,000 point index. Every point equals $20. That means every tick. NQ trades in quarter point increments. Each tick is $5. So that first drop there, that's per contract. That's 80 points, about a $1,600 per NQ contract. That reversal there was good for about 30 points. That's about $600, and you get the point, so on so forth. All right, let's look at the charts that I laid out. Okay, starting out this morning, these are the charts I posted. I posted ES, NQ. Well, these are all 60-minute charts, and RTY. That post came out, got it out at 9 o'clock Took a while to get these charts mocked up. You can see here's NQ. We'll focus on NQ because that's what I traded the most, posted the most updates. So I took the screenshot a little before 8, saying there you were. You had an objective shorting entry right there because we were at downtrend line resistance. Same resistance level that NQ closed, or the QQQ closed at, but NQ had hit it right here. And so you can see I had us going down to that 77.60 target right there and bouncing from that point. And that was this morning. You know, pretty much same thing. You can trade RTY, same thing. I said RTY popped a little above that downtrend line, but that would be my preferred scenario. It probably would go down with the large caps. Okay, and then a little bit later in the comments section, I followed up with this, saying there we go. We got a nice impulsive rejection off the trend line. NQ is coming up, and I said is likely to bounce off the initial tag of the 77.60 support level. And this is all related. Around that time, the next post I made, XLK tech sector analysis, showed you XLK still waiting and expecting an impulsive breakdown below the uptrend line, whether it comes soon or a marginal new high. Everything I just discussed earlier in the market analysis. However, you zoom back in now, what we're doing is coming down to a smaller time frame. That's a daily chart. We're going to have to wait to get a daily break below those trend lines. But here on this hourly chart of XLK, you know, I showed you XLK was back testing the 60-minute uptrend line while also at minor downtrend line support. That was earlier today, and that was around the time that you know, mentioned a short on the markets as well on those other things. So I just wanted to make mention that was a nice back test. So we'll watch this, and the takeaway is maybe if I have time I'll get to the updated XLK chart. Watch these downtrend lines. Watch this uptrend line. Is it recovered? So far we were rejected. So you know, on XLK, which I say is the market, tech is such an important sector that when tech breaks, market breaks, you had a divergent high, trend line, and breakdown, a back test, and so far that played out. But within that same post down below, then I posted, oh no, it was on the next post up. That's right, after XLK tech sector analysis, head and shoulders patterns back tested. You guys remember those head and shoulders patterns? Well, S&P 500 also this morning, when everything else, when those you know, downtrend lines were being tested, you also had a back test of the neckline of the head and shoulders pattern. So this is starting to formulate, you know, where I think we're going. We never hit my target yet, 29. 39. We came close, and remember we also came close on SPY yesterday, so we effectively hit it on SPY, and that's all that counts. But we could come back down here on S&P 500. Either way, where I'm going with this is I also showed you that remember the two cleanest head and shoulders patterns on the 60-minute charts were S&P 500 cash index as well as the NASDAQ 100 futures. So I pointed out, you know, this morning you also had back test and rejection of the neckline on that head and shoulders topping pattern that I've been highlighting. And remember back here, that was yesterday. You know, so it was, you know, that was our sell signal, short down there, and got long here on the divergent low. Plus, remember my support level was hit there yesterday. The targets almost perfectly before the big rally yesterday. And then this again was the objective shorting op. So this is active trader stuff. Now this can be active swing trading because there's certainly trades that last, you know, a day or so. That was a full day's trade right there, or well, partial, you know, because we went down then hit my target. But let me get down to the today's day trading op. Here it was on that same post. So once we hit my 77.60 target right here, you can see here saying I'm thinking somewhere along these lines. So I'm laying out the expected scenario, how the markets are going to trade today and how I plan to trade it if so. So that's where I reversed from, you know, short all the way down, reversed to long, looking for a bounce, as you can see here, to that 77.92 resistance level. That's what that level is right there, the line. Coming down, and you can see making a slight undercut. Expected a slight undercut of today's lows. That's a nice little bear trap scenario. And why? Well, one of the reasons why, there's a lot of reasons. I'm a tape reader, but it's a lot to, you know, the price action recently, where the daily charts are, and so then that would set up a reversal for a bounce, a rally back up above that 77.92, coming close to the trend line and then reversing. So actually, so here's what happened today, and I'll get back to that 1 minute chart. This is what was forecasted, and so far to the exactly this is what happened. Now we ended up about right here, so this is where I suspect that we head tomorrow, but let's flip back to that 1 minute chart I showed you. So again, everything I just showed you there, these are the same levels. That's that same 77.60 support, the red line, that bounce, the initial bounce target. And so remember, we hit the first one, we're able to reverse, hit my bounce target, able to reverse, then undercut that 77.60 level as expected, and again reversed. And this was sort of a dynamic target I added in the trading room. I'll get to that in a second. That's where I'd be reversing and covering this long, reversing it to a short, and then going down. So that was what I just showed you. This is zoomed in on a 1 minute chart, the exact scenario that was laid out earlier today on the 60-minute chart. And so one of the takeaways is, so the 60-minute chart, that lays out kind of the game plan for the day. And, you know, and you have to modify and adapt. If it didn't work out, then I'd be changing the game plan and looking at different levels. But then I use the 1-5 minute charts, I'll show you in a second, to kind of hone in on exactly where and when to sell, buy this, or whether to do it or not, to reverse, or stay long, stay short, etc. And of course, as much as in real time as I could, I posted, you know, when that first bounce target was hit after covering the short, closing out half of my NQ long on that initial bounce there, and then raising tight stops on the rest because my minimum bounce target was hit, and then boom, stop was hit, and that got me out right under that level, and that was right at that bounce I talked about, the initial bounce. Okay, and after reversing long, I noticed we had a setup, this downtrend line right here. Let me show that to you on the, that was posted in the trading room. So here we go. I had a setup posted right here. Let's see, that's not zooming out. I've got a little issue with this browser, but you could probably make it out there. There's a chart at NQ. This is that 1 minute chart zoomed in. Same 1 minute chart showed before. Showing a breakout there, and of course a little notes with the trade. Said, look, NQ took out that trend line, but it only limped above it on the original breakout. Anything but impulsive. It's back testing right now, so let's watch to see if it can rally on volume. So here's another takeaway. Again, I'm just passing on trading tips. You want to see impulsive volume. So here was the update, and then I said right after that, NQ has started to rally impulsively off the back test of the trend line from above. So here's that chart. I don't know if I can make it any bigger. Fortunately, I don't think I can zoom right now on this, but you can see right here, this is that same trend line. So you see the breakout, the back test right there highlighted, and this is impulsive. You see the volume bars down here. Apologize that I can't expand this, but you can see the impulsive move. Again, I'll clear the lines. Breakout, back test, and that was it. Instead of getting close, I listed that as my initial target right there. And then okay, you can see here the next follow-up was the state that I've decided to, said that 77 targets hit, but I decided to hold out and target the 78.17 resistance level. And said the reason why, I'll show you this mosaic of charts here. The reasoning behind that was there, but here's those charts. So this is a mosaic of charts that I have on the futures. What you're looking at here, real quick, is this is both ES on the left right here. These are all ES, and then NQ right here on the right. So we're going to focus on NQ. They are, time frames are there, 1 minute, 5 minute. They're all the same charts, just different time frames. And so there's that downtrend line. You can see the breakout and the back test. You see that first target being hit, but this is where I had us going up to. This was my target, 78.1750, and going up there and then reversing. And you can see it here, that line. The reason, you might wonder where I come up with that line right there, but you can see when you go to these longer term time frames. And this also, there's another takeaway here. There was decent price resistance. And if you go back to the NQ 60-minute chart, you'll see we reversed a little shy of the trend line on the run up today. And so this was a perfect exit. Had I, not modified this, if I not paid attention to this resistance level and modified my trading plan, where I was originally looking for another run up to test that downtrend line on NQ, guess what? I would have missed I would have had a reversal and given back a lot of profits. Instead, I was able to short right there, reverse long to short as I showed you on the other 1 minute chart, and enhance my gains on that trade. This was again the scenario from earlier today, showing you that chart. I already showed that. Let's see, next up, we're almost there, we're almost done. Same thing, a little trade on CL along off that level, where to that rallied back up right up to that trend line. But that's so it was a day trade there, good for about 2.5%, but that's also a swing trade setup. Here's in the trading room today, a bounce trade up posted on Bitcoin using GBTC Bitcoin Trust. Just less than a month ago, I was calling for a 25% drop in Bitcoin here, kind of going off topic, but just a beautiful move, saying Bitcoin futures. If they popped that line, they could rally, and they did 10%, but I said this is the big line. When they break that, boom, and that's the line they broke, and boy did they drop. There it is. So anyone that wonders, if technical analysis works, that was identified over a month ago. In the second that level broke, that's where the drop came. So I'm not sure if my 25% downside has been hit. Either way, looking for a bounce there. Going off topic. All right, let's wrap this up and just get to the last couple trades here on the NQ. Okay, and another reason for closing that NQ short at the highs was that QQQ at the same time, and this is kind of a takeaway for today's analysis, ran into downtrend line resistance. Yesterday I had the downtrend line right here, that lower, the one that's not as bright, and because we had a little spike above it, I've moved this trend line there. So you've had now another reaction off there, and that was all the reason, more reason it aligned, in other words, with the target that I had on NQ that I showed you a second ago that was hit. And that was a 15-minute chart of NQ we're just looking at, and look, there's the reversal. Perfect, right on Q, no pun intended. Right there, you can see the little drop. And so we have this uptrend line to watch tomorrow. So we're pinching, and this is kind of a takeaway for tomorrow's trading. We're pinching in this triangle right here. Bullish if we can pop, and there's some resistance above too, about 190.17. Bearish if we break down below. Okay, we're almost done. So wrap it up, get it there. So that's it. Basically, that was earlier today, showing to go into that target. This post was just posted it once that target was hit. It's 78.17.50. There we were at 78.17.25. Remember, I always sell just a hair shy of resistance and or short, both of which I did reverse there. And so my plan at the time was just ride it short into the close. I modified that just ever so slightly up here. I said bounce target hit. I already did that one. Showed you one more trade. Okay, and this is what I wanted to talk about, and I talked about this in the video that I did earlier today for subscribers, talking about how, day trading, this stuff is, you can't really follow everything up until this one I got out in advance. This one I fired off right when I was doing it. Said I decided to reverse that NQ short. Remember I reversed right there at 78.20 long to short, but then we fell right back to that beautiful 77.92 level, which I traded off multiple times and figured at the very least we get a bounce. So there's a takeaway. So I said I'm going to reverse. I did, just reversed short to long for a quick bounce off support and then right back to short. So that was happening, and I said, yep, I did it, reversed it, put an order in at 78.0125, and that is I don't know exactly, very close to where it went. We'll look at it here in a second. And here it is. Here's the chart. This was the next one. Posted this update here, and you can see actually looked better on that other view. There we go. Go back here, and that's it. Again, that's ES to the left. Forget about ES. Let's see the little bounce right there, and that's again just and it's not a very big bounce. If you're trading QQQ and you're not leveraged up, see, day trading involves using a high degree of leverage because you're going for these small half point, quarter point, sometimes less than a quarter percentage point move. But on NQ, like I said, with every point being $20, you don't need a whole lot, and that's what I did. So there's a reversal, went back short, and for the ride home. So that completes it. Again, that was the whole that initial trade I showed you from start to finish, and everything. About the only one that wasn't posted far enough in advance to probably jump on it by the time you got it was this one. I did post it in real time, and it sat there for a minute or two before we got the bounce, so there was maybe time for it to catch that. But again, guys, the takeaway for this is just these same levels. This is again, this is a mosaic of 1, 5, and 15-minute charts, but you look above, and this could be a daily chart. It could be the same levels on QQQ or SPY, the same kind of patterns. That trend line break, there was a 1-minute downtrend line. It kind of got moved off the chart here because the 1 minute continued to populate, but there was a breakout backtest. And I would take that same trade for a swing trade on a daily chart. The only difference is I'd be expecting a move that would last for days or weeks and probably be in the double-digit percentage gains, where here I'm looking for a move that might be a 0.5% or so in Q. But again, over probably, each one of these, that one probably wasn't over 1,000, but all these were probably, 6 digits in gains in just very short order, and then back and forth, wash, rinse, repeat. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and again, I spent time on this because there's just not a lot to talk about on the broad market, because we are sitting at those same levels, watching the same levels I've talked about for a long time, and they can break any day now, or we can bounce up and maybe those trend lines break weeks or even months from now. But I'll keep you updated, and congrats to those of you that caught. I know a lot of you guys in the right side of the chart in the trading room caught some of these trades, so congratulations to you on that. This has been Randy Finney with Right Side of the Chart. Have a great